Well, thanks everyone for coming along. From a club point of view, today's this week's going to be another significant moment in history for the club when we hand over the games record that Tredrea is obviously holding at the moment and Kane's about to break. But when you think of the short history of the footy club and the players that have been involved at this club already, and I go Lade, Primus, Burgoyne, Wanganeen, there's already been some amazing players play at this football club and have some great success as a football club. It's a really significant day for Kane and a real show that he's been able to do this over a long period of time, and he is recognised as one of the greats of this football club as we talk about 9 out of 10 years being in our top 3 and our best and fairest, to show that he's got the durability to now get to this record is an amazing testament to his character and his ability to just hang in there. And it's a big day for us as a football club, but more importantly, it's a big day for Kane. So I'll hand over to Kane from there.
Yeah, well, I guess I've never really been one to sit back and be satisfied or anything like that. I'm always sort of looking for the next challenge, I guess. So I'm sure at some stage when I retire and footy's over, I'll look back and see it for what it is a good achievement. But at the moment, I'm still trying to help this young group drive forward, and it's a pretty special occasion and a big game for us this weekend as a footy club. So to have Tredrea here today is, just thank him for coming down. I think when I first got to the club, I would have absolutely annoyed the hell out of Tredrea. He was the most professional player I'd ever seen, and I came in and just wanted to improve. And I would have asked him probably 10 questions a day about how he goes about it and what he does, and pretty much just copied everything that he did. Along with Gavin Wanganeen, he's the best player that I've ever played with, and probably wouldn't be sitting here today if it wasn't for guys like that. So I owe a huge amount of thanks to those guys.
Was it a matter of just persisting through when you weren't getting selected for football?
In terms of a young guy, or
in terms of you continuing to stay and getting back into the senior side, was it just persisting when you weren't being selected?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's everyone wants to talk about that year of 2011, and it's I can't do a media conference without someone bringing it up. So I guess it's pretty frustrating from that point of view because I've had some pretty good years at the club and I had one bad year. So everyone wants to talk about that, but in terms of persistence, I think that's been the key from when I first got here. I was never the most talented guy, not the fastest, not the biggest or strongest, but I've always been able to work hard and train hard and have good pre-seasons, and I think that's always got me through.
A lot of that is a test of character though, and everyone goes through it in their footy career, and Kane went through it. He hasn't gone through it with injury, and touch wood it doesn't, because some go through it with injury, but what he went through in that year, it's made him a better player and a better person. And from my perspective, he takes over my games record. He's been texting me for the last 20 games every day going, 1 to go, 19 to go, 18 to go. And after this weekend, I'll be really happy that he doesn't text me ever again. So now I'll be going -2, -3, -4. But no, full credit to him for Lucy and the kids. And obviously can't underestimate the background he's come from too. Dad was a legend. And I know there's other people in this room who've been through similar circumstances, but it's not an easy thing. Chad as well, an older brother who is probably a bigger personality in the group in terms of emotion in showdowns and really giving to the crowd. And Kane's gone about doing his number, and if you look back the last 15 years, and I was lucky to play through a successful period with him. The situation was we knew we'd come up against a good team, Simon Black, Brisbane. We knew that Kane would take care of Simon Black and get him out of the game. And for me as a player in that team, as one of the leaders in the group, it was like, good, well that's taken care of, how else do we beat him? And that's the confidence we had through that period, that Kane would be a run-with player, he'd win plenty of ball himself, but more importantly, when there was someone to be shut down, whether it was a Kerr, Judd, Cousins, numerous players, even a Gary Ablett, you knew that he'd give his all, and that's all you can ask for from a teammate. So for me, he stands here today and a few years out of the system. A game's tally is great, it's a record, but as Kane will tell you, the win is more important, because this time last year when Port played at that game, unfortunately in my role in media, I was there and I saw them lose this game, and it did hurt the footy club, but they've got a chance for redemption this week, and that only happens when his teammates are off to my left do the job for him, because you want to win milestone games. Mark Williams And John Carl started that when my era at this club. Ken's continuing it. You want to win milestone games, otherwise they don't mean much.
Has that been hard, Kane, making your own name when you come from such a famous family?
Oh, not really. I had a great upbringing. I wouldn't change it for the world to be involved with footy clubs and to see Ken's young kids and Tyson Edwards and Sean Wren and Gary Hocking's kids around the footy club. There's no better place. It's like an extended family, and I was blessed to be able to spend so much time around footy clubs, and it just drove my passion to want to be as good as those guys one day.
For those things that you point out that came as your handicap, so to speak, what do you think you made it so successful?
Well, it's pretty cliche, I guess, Rooch, but I've always had good pre-seasons and I've always been able to push myself, and I think when I retire, whenever that is, I'll be able to sit back and sleep pretty well at night knowing that I got the best out of my ability. Some guys, for whatever reason, don't get the best out of their ability, so the message to the young group and the guys here that have got a lot more talent than I was given with, just to get the most out of yourself, whatever that is when you finish, to be able to sit back and think, yep, I did as best as I could and I got the best out of what I was given. I think that's a good place to finish.
Pretty highlight, obviously, the premiership so far.
Yeah, I think so. I think that and the preliminary final against St Kilda was amazing. This year, my 250th, when we beat West Coast, was a massive highlight as well. To have the kids there and family there and boys to play so well was a big one as well.
Chad, pretty out play this week, timed out perfectly. He was fit.
Would have been nice. He'll be sitting up in the coach's box, cheering for them, I guess. But it's funny how things work out, and it's a bit ironic that he'll be there coaching them and we'll be playing.
And you've gotten the most out of yourself over the journey. You talk about helping the young guys. Do you still feel like there's unfinished business for you personally?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just a great group to be a part of. Not only with what the boys do on the field, but it's as good a group as I've seen, just in terms of how good they are as a bunch of guys. Love coming to training and spending time with them, and that's the best thing about playing footy, is getting to spend time with these guys and helping them in whatever way we can to get the best out of it and push this footy club forward.
Kane, I know there's still a lot of time left for this year, but I think you might have mentioned a couple months ago you're keen to play next year. Is that still something that is on the cards?
Yeah, I think so. I think I've still got a little bit to offer, and body's still really good, and been able to perform. So I feel like I can contribute next year. How long after that, who knows? But just sort of take it year by year.
Kane, every time a new coach comes on, every player's going to ask where he fits in. What did Ken give you as a vision for this year and why you can survive and start?
They've spoken about it before, but just a lot of confidence in that he was going to push me and my game, and he probably challenged me more than any coach had done for a number of years, and really doing his best to get the best out of me, and still is. And I really appreciate the work and effort that he's putting into helping not only me but everyone else be as best as we can.
What was your thoughts there, Ken?
Oh, exactly as we've reported in the past, is that typically new coach comes in, older players start to feel a bit of pressure. Well, we've got to be better, and we need to make sure that we keep our more senior players around the club as long as we possibly can, and hopefully handle the right times for them to exit the football club on our terms and their terms, not just at the door because we're changing direction totally as a club. If they're good people and they're valued around your club, why shouldn't they still be around your football club? That's the way I look at it. They're good people, and that's the most important thing we have. And we've got that with certainly our two most senior players in Dom and Kane. They're both very, very good people.
What do you remember about a young Kane when he joined the club?
We started pre-season when he wasn't allowed to. 2000 draft, I reckon. Yeah, we did a repeated speed running session at uni gym, and it was a photo on the paper the next day, and then the AFL called the club and said, "What's this bloke training? He's not allowed to train yet." But that was Kane, and nothing's changed since then. Whether you talk about the testing periods, his attitude was, "I'll show you," and he talks about, "I might not be the most talented receiver. We've all got deficiencies," but his attitude is, and the other bit too, you got to understand the mentality of this bloke, and he's going to hate me saying this, but he used to go for a walk before a pre-season time trial. He geared himself up to be the best he can be, and he's relaxed a fair bit over the latter half of his career, which happens, but he'd almost go for a run before he does a run. This guy was up there, and that's why he beat the best, because he knew he had to be 100%, if not more, to get the results. And as I said, the lasting impression was you knew that he'd do the job. and you just took it for granted. And that's probably one thing that when his time does finish, Port will go, well, geez, we've got to find a bloke who's going to have to replace one of the best of the last 15 years as being a guy who can win some footy, but also who can do a job on some of the best people around. And that's why he's been rewarded like he has at this club.
How important is that professionalism off the field?
Oh, it's even more so now. What Kane was doing back in 2000 was probably still above the standard that is now. But he was well beyond, before his years. And you knew that to a stage where I think there was a story around, whether it's true or not, that Choco said he wasn't going to draft him. Kane got on the phone and convinced him why he should, and part of that was probably Choco playing his games as he does. But I think it's important, and that's probably the message to these guys. They're re-establishing a standard at Port Adelaide that may have slipped over the past 4 or 5 years, and that's what I've noticed as being outside of it now, is that the fans are coming back to watch a team have a crack. And you can cop losing, but it's as long as you go down fighting, and I think that's probably part of the way Kane plays, is how it's being rubbed off on this group.
Can you ever want to have the way you play? What role you should play?
Did you understand that?
Yeah, I didn't.
Which one? We'll go with you.
There's a fair bit of debate about the role you should play and the way you should play. How do you answer what is best for you and best for the team?
I'm not to worry about it too much at all. It can change within 5 minutes of a game, let alone for a whole career. So you just do the best you can in the role that is asked of you. It's not my decision where I play, so what's the point of listening to supporters or people outside having debate about it? It's just a waste of time.
With the changing nature of footy mean that it's harder to break what you'll eventually set as the club milestone?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Possibly a little bit. It's really demanding now, and it could be difficult also mentally, just with the demands in terms of meetings, and everything that's expected of an AFL player has gone up in the last 2 years, let alone the last 13. But I don't know, with guys like Ollie Wines and Jake Need and Chad Wingard, they're going to play a lot of games for this club, and records will get broken eventually. No doubt about that.
Who out of this lot do you reckon could break your record?
Oh, those three would be a very good chance.
Tredrea, what does the club need to do in terms of the second half of the season to ensure it progresses from the last couple of years?
I think bring the same consistent effort and fighting spirit that we've seen. No doubt they had an easier draw at the start of the year. Realistically, that's what it was. But you need to keep winning games you're expected to win, and in games that you're not, you put in a fair dinkum fight. And that's the area with. I heard Ken talk a fortnight ago. He was really disappointed, most disappointing performance. I sat at home and watched the game. You can't control the games being involved in them, but watched it, and they were dictated to probably for the first time this year. So the challenge for the group is to get back up and continue to have those efforts. I think they're probably more united than I've seen for quite some time. And I was the first to say when they said they're going to hit 40,000 members, I said, yeah, good luck. But the way the blokes play, and the way the blokes prepare, and the way the guys are going down in fighting spirit, whether it's winning or losing or come up from behind wins and Kane's 200th, then that's why people cheer for this footy club and what it's always been known for. So re-evaluating the standard and continuing to hold that. Do I think they'll play finals? It's going to be tough. I don't think they will. But they're in a different stage. But that's not to say you don't go for it.
Ken, on that point Ken makes about looking after champions and how they finish their careers at the club, you've had two coaches have different thoughts on that. Is there a view in your mind as to how you would want it to end?
Oh, yeah, not really. Roosh, I haven't thought about it at all. And usually it's not really your decision how you want it to end, and we all know that, and smart enough to know the way it works. So, however it does end, you just got to make it the best you can, and whatever happens, I'll be so thankful of the time that I've been able to do what I love doing. And yeah, I'll never be bitter or disgruntled about it.
Do you ever wonder how things would have panned out if a different club called your name on draft day?
Oh, not really. I was just so lucky to come to this club and stay here and with my family and my brother, and playing a premiership with him was amazing. So no, I haven't had much thought about it.
Giants were pretty good for 3 quarters last week against Geelong. They're tough side to beat.
Yeah, they will be. Yep. Yeah, we'll need to bring our best effort, and they're clearly already talking about it being their grand final. It's an early grand final. We don't normally play too many this time of the year, but they're playing one, and we'll do our best to make sure that we win.
Thank you.